How dare you start recording me?
Well, I thought that we're actually talking about stuff. I thought, well, I'll record it anyway and see.
Well, here we are talking about stuff that we need to be talking.
Yeah, and see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, what kind of news did we get in 2021? Jodie's leaving.
Ever since all the way back from Revolution of the Daleks, what's happened since? Oh yeah, she's fucking off.
Yeah. It's like if we postpone that.
No.
Welcome, Nerdholics, by the way.
It's confirmed rumours at this point, but the thing is, BBC aren't denying it either. So
no, and it's when they don't actually come out and say this isn't true, but they just refuse to comment. Then signs normally point to it's probably true.
It probably is true. They're trying to save face.
Speculation and all that. But when you've got all the major tabloids and BBC News.
Yeah.
Reporting on it as well, then it's like there's got to be some weight to it, I think.
Well, it's the BBC News one that's a killer. If the BBC News, the thing that the BBC control, saying it, then because you thought they would have at least kept it quiet, but no, BBC News can talk about it. Fine.
Well, they probably had to because they thought, oh shit, right, everyone else is talking about it. I suppose we better pipe up. Apart from the actual runners of the show itself.
On there.
Yeah.
Oh. It's a really slow news day if that's the headlines on like all the newspapers in the UK. It's like, coronavirus? Nah, it's fine. No one cares about that no more.
Jodie Whittaker's leaving Doctor Who.
Fuckity bye.
That picture was amazing.
Good, wasn't it?
Where did you find that picture anyway? Oh.
Also, why didn't you tell me Tom Baker was in Rebels?
What, me?
Yeah, you knew Tom Baker was the Bandu in Rebels.
Maybe
why did you not tell me about
it? Keep it a surprise.
Because
I would have watched it fucking years ago.
Me too.
Because I genuinely forgot he was in it.
How could you forget he was in it? That's ridiculous.
I couldn't believe it. It's like I've watched all. I'm on to season 3 now, like episode 5. And it's the first episode of season 3 when the Bandu gets introduced, and I was just like, "Hang on a minute, I recognise that voice." And I was watching it. He basically is this huge. He's got a bull's head, but I don't know, it's hard to describe what. He's got a big bull head, but
he's a camel crossed with a tortoise that lives in sand.
All right.
Turtle in the desert.
I mean, okay, to give you a better description, he's Tom Bombadil, but for Star Wars.
Fair enough.
Because he's more sensitive, but it's not really dark or light, and doesn't really have that much of an opinion on either. It's quite funny. He gets given a stiff holocron as well, and he's like, a lovely little trinket. And I was like, it's Tom Bombadil. Oh, well.
What do I do with this?
Well, the thing with Tom Bombadil is that there's obviously, it's never been confirmed, but the sort of the general consensus is that he is Eru Iluvatar, as in he's like the god, the god of Middle Earth, but he's just pissing about because he's like, I'm just gonna send Gandalf and the rest of you lot to deal with this while I go, prattling around with some lovely river woman and just push you in the right direction.
Yeah. If you were God, that's what you'd do. Mess about in a river with a lady. It's fun.
I've created the world. I'm going to enjoy all the different drugs I've created.
Exactly. And just let you lot get on with it with your silly little quarrels about things that you put on a finger.
Wow.
Hey.
There's so many things you can put on a finger, as he's learnt with the river lady.
Absolutely. Goldberry.
There's lots of theories about Tom Bombadil, and all of them are weird because no one really knows anything about it.
Well, no, Tolkien kept it deliberately ambiguous. You just don't know. But there's obviously so many people have theorized about it. Like, well, he's probably like Iluvatar himself, just fucking around.
So one of the things I do like, it only gets briefly mentioned in the books, but it's kind of after Gandalf and the Balrog fall down the pit.
Yeah.
Gandalf briefly mentions about seeing unnamed horrors down in the centre of the earth that even the Balrog kind of crapped itself out and was running away from. That's how they got to the top. So it's like Gandalf and the Balrog meet things that scare a bloody Balrog in the depths of the earth. What the hell are those things?
They literally went to hell and back.
Yeah. Yeah. What are those things? I want to see what they look like. I want to see
what could scare one of
ideas for the Amazon series.
Oh, Amazon won't do it right. Apparently, there's a rumor that the Amazon series wants to make Gandalf a lady.
Oh yeah, all that shit's been coming out, but I don't think they can. I don't think they can get away with anything that the Tolkien estate. So they could create like their, a bit like what's her face, Toriel from the Hobbit movies. They could like invent characters, but I don't think they're allowed to change anything about existing ones.
They can't change existing characters and existing events.
You've got a perfectly good Lord of the Rings movie series. Why would you do anything that sort of deviates from that too much?
Yeah,
Sweet Green, mate. Sweet Green. They want the money.
It's based on the Second Age.
They've already made the decision, which I totally agree with, is setting it in the Second Age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which then, I suppose, in many respects, is so far in the past that it doesn't really affect too much of what goes on in Lord of the Rings. Which I suppose is a good idea.
Yeah.
But then,
something
like you've just said. Why
the Second Age is the rise of Sauron. Most of the Second Age is the rise of Sauron and the fall of man.
It's basically the sinking of Numenor.
Finishes at the end. He becomes a big fiery eye. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really make that much difference to what actually happens in Lord of the Rings itself.
As long as the key events still happen, you'd be okay. But yeah, you could put in your own little dramas about various characters and stuff. And especially if you get a few new ones.
Second Age goes on for a long fucking time as well. So it's a case of like you'll see Sauron in his fair form, and probably by the end of it, it'll be like the sinking of Numenor. But they could stretch that over 10 seasons if they wanted to.
Or we're going to see live action Celebrimbor.
Yeah.
Lord, the Ringmaker.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's well, yeah.
See, if they do that, they're going to have to do a throwaway mention of Talion or something.
Or Farazon as well.
Yeah.
How bad do you think the Amazon series is going to be? There's a lot of money being ploughed into it, so
it's going to look amazing. But I think it will be I reckon it will be a bit like the Witcher show, where it will be pretty good, but there'll still be a little bits of things that are like that they'll change about it to just to tick boxes.
So you think it tonally it might be a bit off?
Yeah, and also there's a thing about they've hired an intimacy coordinator, which means there basically is going to be
sex.
Shagging, yeah, and it's like, okay, I'm sure it did. Obviously, it happened in that world, but do we really want to see it? I don't know. What a perfect way for him to freeze.
Or is he frozen? It's the perfect face for what we were talking about.
Yes, I want to see it.
Elves, fucking orcs.
Yes. Give me more of that.
He looks like Roger Delgado without a beard. Look. All gons, leave the hall now.
I'll start shilling myself on Patreon, selling my ass to try and make some more money or something, but it'll be fine. By the end of the year, 1,000 subscribers, monetization, yeah.
Hey, that's not
fun to make.
Anytime at the rate at which we are gaining subscriptions.
I think 500's a reasonable target.
Yeah. Well, this is it. We're on 200 and whatever.
14.
Yeah. I think we're exponentially growing. So, like, for example, it took us 4 years to get 100. And then it took us just a year to get another 100. So
but, they tell two friends, and then they tell two friends, and then they tell two friends.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. The one of the other videos is picking up traction. That little 2-minute one I did about Chris Chibnall, the timeless hypocrite. Yeah. And it's just like a little collection of quotes that he said.
Doing well. Nice.
It's actually doing all right. Yeah, that's nearly pushing to that. It's got like a massive traction in the last few days, probably because of the Christmas special. And it's funny because someone put, "Oh, this is mean-spirited and misleading," and then someone immediately replied, "No, it isn't. The quotes are all there, and it's all in context." I was like, "Brilliant! I like you."
This is mean-spirited. No, it's all there.
It's all there. The quotes are all there. It's all in context. He is a hypocrite.
Yeah. You're not saying anything. You're not saying anything. It's literally just his stuff. So it's fine.
Yeah. Well, that's why I rage every time I think back to that interview with him as a fucking teenager complaining about Andrew Cartmell's storytelling, and it's like, what? That's like Shakespeare in comparison to what you've managed to
exactly.
You useless twat.
You fucking
Oh,
arsehead.
dude. Yeah.
But it's just the fact that like he put that quote out about, oh, you know, I don't read reviews, I don't like read any feedback. This isn't a democracy. And then there was like an interview a few years earlier about him going, oh, it's always a collaborative process with drama. You should always contribute and read and blah. So it's like, yeah, he's a fucking hypocrite.
He's full of shit, is what he is.
Yeah.
Come on, Neil Gaiman, you're only a hope.
Well,
Come on, Sheer Smith.
this is it. I was going to.
Inside number 9.
I was going to say, based on
this
new news,
basically, just let the League of Gentlemen boys just get on with it.
Yeah. That'd be fucking brilliant. They're fans. They've already been in it. They know actually how to. Even though it's like a dark comedy, they still understand good writing and sci-fi.
It would be a Dark Doctor. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if they got Michael Sheen on board, they would write him perfectly, I think.
I always find that Doctor Who's works at its best when it's at its like graphic darkest.
Mm.
I mean, maybe that's just a good opinion of mine because my favourite season happens to be the first 2 or 3 seasons of Tom Baker.
I was going to say season 13 and 14. Yeah, come on, you can't get much darker than that.
The Hammer horror years, as I like to think.
Exactly.
Well, this is it. You need a bit of horror in something like this. It's kind of like if it's just too upbeat and cheerful, it's kind of like, okay, you can do your upbeat and cheerful episodes every now and again, but it is supposed to be a bit more of a horror fantasy kind of thing, really, isn't it?
Well, I mean, when you've got like, if you think of some of the ideas behind the main villains, you've got, you know, okay, they might not look horrifying, but you've got like the Daleks. The idea behind them and their mission statement is horrifying. They want to wipe out everyone else who isn't like them. That's a scary idea. Or the Cybermen, contrarily, want to make everyone into them and want to assimilate your body. You know, that's a horrifying concept. Well, and things like the Wirren and, you know.
They basically pick out extremes of Nazism is the Daleks and communism's the Cybermen. It's these
both
big,
extremes.
Old political.
Both extreme ends of the political spectrum.
Yes.
Coming together to form this weird, tyrannical, horrible thing, but there's still. It's whichever way you look at it. Either way, it's as horrific as the other. You know what I mean? Yeah. And everything else that comes in between, like, you know, the Centaurans are just like warmongers. You could argue that they were like I don't know where on the political spectrum they would fit, and I don't think they do really. They just want to kill things and fight.
Primary and secondary reproductive system. It's inefficient. You should change it.
Oh. Well,
offensive value, therefore nil.
The Sontaran experiment's got so many good fucking lines in it. It's a weaker construction.
The Sontaran experiment. What?
Silence.
Hang on. Refresh my memory. Wasn't one of the experiments basically he's just got a rock sitting on someone's chest?
It's a gravity bar.
Yeah.
It's a rock.
That's a gravity bar.
Rock.
The two guys are holding on to a gravity bar, and he increases the gravity of it, thus crushing on seeing how much the weight the human torso can take.
Yeah.
That's the experiment.
In a field.
By some rocks. It's basically
to be fair, it used to be Piccadilly Circus, so yeah. Or whichever tube station he.
It's the Central Line.
Central Line. There we go.
Never throw anything away. That's why I never throw anything away. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
Really shouldn't listen to everything he tells me to do.
But you do it regardless. Why not?
Yeah, well, if you're going to listen to someone, you might as well listen to Tom Baker.
Yeah, he's hard not to listen to, really. Oh, you just sleep listening to our dulcet tones.
Yeah, Doof.
Doof.
To be fair, we know this channel's not about me.
It's about the cat.
My own baby Yoda over here.
Yeah.
Grogu, my own Grogu.
Grogu Elmo.
Do we all have Amazon Prime?
Yes.
Yeah.
when it comes out, do we all want to watch the Lower Decks on Amazon Prime? Come on. We can rip the shit out of it. It was terrible.
Well, we know it's terrible, but
No, we don't. I haven't been watching anybody's YouTube videos about it.
No, definitely not. Boomcock.
I've been trying my best. I didn't even know it was even out until I saw the trailer for it on Amazon Prime.
Versus Babyface. If you both do it, I will, but I'm not.
No, I was upset when I found out that it wasn't Olan Rogers that was actually making it. I was like, well, it's going to be rubbish then.
If Olan Rogers actually made it, it would have been fun.
Exactly.
You know what? Yeah, I'll give it a go. I know what's going to happen in
we'll all have, if we all do
worse shit. You guys watched series 12 of Doctor Who.
This is true. Well, actually, I watched half of it. Jack still watched all of it. Bless him.
Yeah.
I watched it for the internet. Man.
Yeah.
The lols.
You did it for you took the hit for the channel like we did for New Year's Day.
I did it for the rock. I did it for the people. I did it.
No one cares what you did.
Shut the hell up, you dumbass, buddy.
Yeah.
My brother's actually watching a video about The Rock for some reason.
Oh, is he? Why
Any
not?
particular reason? Any particular reason for that?
I mean, he's a massive fan of The Rock.
Of The Rock, yeah. To be fair, it's quite understandable.
To be fair, we keep having this continuing argument with my brother that, hang on, should I get his... Rich!
Yeah, get Rich in the video.
Rich! I might be in bed. He keeps on telling me that he has more good movies to bad movies. And I was like, he's got one good movie, maybe? Like, he's mostly done terrible movies.
Well, I'm trying to think.
I mean, how about we go through the list, shall we? Like, we'll try and see if we can find a good rock movie. I mean, like, the first one he did.
What, the Scorpion King?
The Mummy 2, Scorpion
Oh,
King.
yeah, technically he was in that, yeah.
Well, technically, he's just CGI'd on a bad guy.
Yeah.
He did the bit at the very beginning, like the.
And then he was in the actual Scorpion King movie, which.
Hang on, let's just get. I'll just get IMDb up.
Just get IMDb up.
Yeah, getting there. Okay, right here we go. So we've got Beyond the Map, but that's a documentary. Right, then we got The Mummy Returns in 2001.
Yep.
Then you got Scorpion King 2002.
All right.
The Rundown, which
I've never heard of it.
I think I think the English version was Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh yeah, I've seen that once. Don't remember anything about it, so it's probably rubbish.
Walking Tall.
I don't think I've actually seen that one.
I remember him having a baseball bat in it for quite a lot. That was all right. Be Cool, which was like the sequel to Get Shorty. He was quite funny in that, actually. I'll give that a pass. Doom.
Oh, that's a plus. It's not exactly the big thing.
Doom with Carla.
Doom was great.
Oh, do you know what? It was really funny.
Bad Bird said about that.
My old flatmates were like, "Oh, extra chromosome. It doesn't work that way. Why wasn't it just hell?" I was like, "Yeah, I know, but it had some really cool things in it. Like, he puts the cartridge into the gun and it says Reaper. Like,
yeah,
it's like a computer game."
It was damn.
And then obviously it's all about that first person scene where.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's what makes that fucking thing.
I say murder and monsters, but.
Yeah.
That's a film that starts really well and gets worse as it goes.
No, there's a lot of films here that I just haven't heard of either. Right, then we've got Southland Tales.
No.
Gridiron Gang. That's supposed to be no. Reno 911 Miami.
No.
As a cameo of himself. The Game Plan. Don't know. Get Smart. Race to Witch Mountain.
Oh, that's a Disney film, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's Disney crap.
Planet 51.
That's the animated film.
Oh, it's a voice role, yeah. The Tooth Fairy. Not even bothered it, but even when you get someone like John Cena taking the piss out of him for it, you know it's bad.
Yeah,
true.
These are just on credit cameos. The Other Guys.
Oh, the other guy is wicked, but that's not because of him. Okay, I'll explain the premise. Is that it's Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're the other. So you see Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock are the two main police officers.
Yeah,
and they do all the big action hero stuff. And they're in the background as another two.
Oh no, I remember that now.
Team, and then it becomes a film about them and not The Rock. Yeah, he's good in that, but he's only in it for 2 minutes.
I was going to say, spoiler alert, he gets killed off quite early, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. They
jump off a building thinking they're going to survive. They're going to aim for the bush, and then they just hit the ground and die. It was just brilliant. Yeah. Just basically taking the piss out of all those ridiculous action sequences, like in Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you jumped out of a building and used a fire hydrant as the fire hose, and then smashed through a window, you'd break your back.
Yeah.
If you're John McClane, mate.
That's the Rock.
Oh yeah, if you're John McClane, you're a double-hard bastard. You can walk on glass with no shit.
Yeah, exactly. They don't make them like they used to.
He walks on broken
glass. Or light a lighter in an air vent without it just getting blown out or burning.
Being like a massive fucking backflip. Okay, and in the same year he did Faster. Now I remember that being advertised. This isn't like Fast and Furious. This is just called Faster, and he's a driver or something. Never seen it.
That sounds dreadful. Anyway,
Fast 5. Okay, the Fast Furious. That was quite good. Compared to the rest of them, it was right. Journey to the Mysterious Island.
No.
Snitch.
Never heard of it.
G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Oh no.
Pain and Gain. That was quite good actually.
Is that the one that's about a bank heist?
Yes.
It's based on true life events.
Yeah, it's actually, considering it was Michael Bay, it wasn't too bad. It's another Mark Wahlberg one as well.
I mean, I can't say I've heard anything that would make me go, that was a good film. All of them have been a bit like...
Fast and Furious 6, not as good as the fifth.
Hobbs and Shaw is the other one, isn't it? Is that after Fast and Furious?
Yeah, that's a lot later.
Hercules. Oh yeah, I remember watching Hercules. Can't remember anything about that movie. Again, this does a lot of films where I've sat down and I've watched them and gone, can't actually remember any details about any of these films.
No. Fast and Furious 7.
No.
San Andreas, typical fucking disaster film.
We're talking about The Rock. We're talking about The Rock. No, he has not done any good movies, bro.
That may well be the case, but when Mick Foley introduced him for the John Cena match in 2011, I wasn't watching Raw then, obviously, but he got the biggest pop I've ever heard, man. And Mick Foley was saying, it all went quiet, and then he was like, "Who's your smell?" And the whole crowd went fucking apeshit. I was like, that is fucking awesome.
That was. Remember when we all sat down, like, we got really pissed and watched the match against John Cena, and it was like watching him as a kid again when he fucking won. Because it was just like, yes, he fucking actually won the match.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're just going through The Rock's filmography, and there isn't a good one, man. It isn't a good film. We haven't even reached things like the San Andreas yet.
Oh, yeah, we just got to that.
Oh, we just got to San Andreas.
That was good.
Dreadful.
Doom.
That's not a good film, though.
Doom was great.
Too fit. See, he goes coming out of them now. Gridiron.
The Gridiron Gang, yeah, that wasn't too bad either.
He was serious in that one.
Oh, he was serious. He was actually being serious, Rock.
Fast 5 was the best Fast and the Furious.
Fast 5 was the best one he was in.
Yeah,
that wasn't bad actually. Yeah.
This is the same man who says like Battleship is a good film.
Who, me? No, I've not even.
Him.
Oh right.
What a brother.
I was going to say, I've not even seen that fucking film.
I love Battleship, especially when they do a high handbrake turn in a fucking US Navy boat.
Is that the one with Rihanna, Ella in it?
Jack.
Yeah.
Seriously, they do a handbrake turn in the USS Missouri. And the fact of the matter is the USS Missouri's also manned by like a whole load of 70-year-olds. It's almost like, hoorah! Yeah, Navy! Old men! Veterans! Vets! Ooh.
Battleship, man. Battleship. It's like Sharknado, man. Sharknado.
I watched it and was like, this is utter. He's done it to me twice. He got me to watch Battleship, and it was awful. And then Transformers. What's the one with the dinosaurs in it?
Age of Extinction.
Is it?
Was that the last one?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know which one it is. Fucking dreadful is what it was. Because I was expecting to see the Dinobots, and it was dreadful.
Well, to be fair, actually, the only good one was the first one. The rest have been utter.
I think that's again. We have different opinions about this. It's not quite the 1980s cartoon.
No. As in, like of the
live action movies,
yeah.
the first one is
possible. The rest of them are utter garbage. And even the first one is just
they're all Michael Bay spunking off explosions.
Yeah, basically.
I'll give credit to the third one only on the basis that it's hard to fuck up Optimus Prime with an axe and a jetpack killing shit. You know, it's hard to fuck that up. But again, that's like 3 minutes.
There's just too much going on with the CGI.
Yeah, you can't see what's going on through half of these fucking films.
I'm of the opinion less is more, not more is more, because there's a point, like especially in the first one, it pans up, and it's like it's a cool scene, but it's just unnecessary where you see Megatron, like all these different bits and all like.
And also, they're all very grey, so it's hard to tell.
Anything like Megatron does in the cartoon.
No. And it's like, thank fuck they didn't sort of like fuck Unicron up with that. Oh, it's unfilmable. Well, it's not really, but I'm glad that you didn't do it.
I'm glad you didn't bother going there. I mean, it's a story we all wanted to see because you did it in the 80s in the cartoon form. With Orson Welles as the fucking voice.
Yeah, that was just too. Yeah, it can't be beaten. Where are we now? Oh god, yeah, it's again one of the greatest soundtracks in history. It's just fucking metal, isn't it?
Harrowing, no, that film is harrowing because some of my favourite characters get killed off in the first 5 minutes. They were really beloved characters in Series 1 of Transformers.
Where are we up to? Central Intelligence.
That's dreadful.
Moana was supposed to be quite good animation, but
animated film don't count.
The Fate of the Furious, haven't seen it. Baywatch, no, it's supposed to be utter shit.
I've watched Baywatch, stupid movie, and it's also
he plays Mitch Buchanan. Fuck off.
Also awful.
Yeah.
Okay, Jumanji 1. That was pretty good.
Right. I'm gonna have my hand up and go. Yeah, it's a good film.
Yeah. No, I agree.
One good film is actually brilliant, and I'd argue it's not because of him though.
Yeah,
it's Jack Black, isn't it?
It's Jack Black and Karen
Gillan.
Oh fuck, Karen.
In that very short skirt. Anyway, misogynist. Yeah. Okay, then we're up to 2018 now. Rampage.
Is that the one about the big giant gorilla?
The big giant monkey, yeah.
I've never seen it. Don't care.
No, I saw it advertised. Skyscraper.
At this point, if you get to 2018, I've already given up on The Rock. It's not like he's not a draw to me anymore.
And yet somehow he's the highest paid actor in Hollywood. And you think, well, I suppose it's just...
They're all shit films, though.
Yeah.
They're all shit.
But somehow they make fucking shitloads of money.
They make serious money because The Rock's in them. He's got enough charisma and he's still a big enough draw that people will go and see those movies for him.
Yeah.
Whether they're good is a separate thing.
It's irrelevant.
And then you've got Fighting with My Family, which is actually about wrestling, and it's supposed to be
about Paige from the Norwich.
Yeah. Shazam, where he was executive producer on it, so that doesn't count. Hobbs and Shaw.
It's weird.
Jumanji 2.
Shazam, actually.
He's going to be playing Black Adam, isn't he? In the whenever the sequel's out.
Him, but he's not actually in the film, so he doesn't count as being part of Shazam.
No, but it'll be in
that's true. That's true.
And apparently he
Mark Strong puts in another performance, another bad guy performance worthy of him.
Yeah. And then you've got Jungle Cruise, which is supposed to be out this year, and this is it. That's it. That's all the Rock. I didn't think this was going to turn into the theme of this video.
One movie's only good. The rest of them.
One movie's good, and it's from like 3 years ago. That's it.
The sequel to it, I've watched.
No. Doom was 15 years ago, man. What are you on about?
Okay, so we've got one good movie, which is Jumanji, and a second debatable movie, which is Doom, as being good.
I'll still go out and say that the Fast Five was decent for that franchise.
Any of the Fast and Furious movies are decent, man.
That one's good, but the rest are debatable. Because then they just start to get ridiculous, and they just kind of like, I quite like it when they start to get ridiculous, because it's like, fuck it, let's just become this weird sort of almost Transformers like franchise rather than just let's drive cars around. Anyway, how did we get onto that topic? That protracted list.
I was just saying that my brother was watching
there we go.
The Rock documentary, and then I was talking about his ridiculous. Yeah. Oh man, The Rock's made loads of good movies. Like, fucking hasn't made loads of good movies.
No, not that have been received well by general audiences, but they've made it for a lot of money.
Half a brain.
Yeah, but then I suppose he's not that kind of actor though, is he? He's just anyone from wrestling. I don't think would ever go on to be like, I don't know, in a fucking Scorsese movie somehow. Unless it was maybe CM Punk, but from that.
Oh, there's another man who's disappeared up his own arse, though.
What, CM Punk?
No.
Oh, Scorsese. Yeah.
What was he moaning? Oh, yeah, he was moaning about the Marvel movies.
So they're not proper
they're all
films.
like big. They're not real films. So
they are real films. They are. They're not going to be like your art house theatre movies, but they're still proper films. It's just
and they
still took time and effort to actually make.
And they have, and 99% of them are passable to good. Do you know what I mean? Apart from Thor 2, I should say. But I haven't seen Captain Marvel, so I can't really comment on that. But
it's all right.
Interesting thing I found out.
His face is in it. Jude Law's really good in it.
Oh, as Marvel.
Yeah.
Let's see. One interesting thing I found out about the Captain Marvel movie was actually supposed to be beginning of Phase 2. That's supposed to come out like after the first Avengers movie.
Oh, it was supposed to be as early as that.
That's when it was supposed to come out, roughly that sort of time.
Right. Well, yeah, and it makes sense with when they said it as well. But
it doesn't mean it would have been much better, and it would have. But the thing is, if you think about it, then if it came out at that point, you had loads of other references to Captain Marvel through all the rest of the movies. Yeah. It's kind of like, maybe things would have worked better.
Brie Larson probably wouldn't have been cast. Because she wasn't really as. She hadn't already won an Oscar for whatever that fucking film is that she won the Oscar for in it. So they just automatically thought, let's get her in it. There should have been Katie Sackhoff, as far as I'm concerned, and I've harped on about that for so long. But basically, Cara Thrace is Captain Marvel in the way that she plays her. It's just like, yes, I see her as that, but no, they went with Brie instead.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that too. Now she is. Well, she's been for a while in the cartoons. Isn't she?
Wasn't it nice when you see the last episode and they're doing the comms chatter from the shuttle to the Imperial cruiser, and it was like, it's like it's Starbuck back.
Yeah, I know that was.
It was just reminded me so much of Battlestar when she's like chatting down the thing. She's like,
and then the sort of the cheeky smile that she had. I was like, it's Cara.
Casey Sackhoff's great.
She's just like an icon in the nerd culture now, and I love it. And again, an example of a gender swapped character done well. You know what I mean? And not just for fucking like political kudos. Actually, it was like she was an entirely new character in a way.
To be honest, all that whole revamp everyone was completely different.
Yeah.
There was no character that actually was the same as it was in the old series. As much as I do quite like the old series, it was a bit two-dimensional with its characters. You had the cocky pilot, and Starbuck was the wisecracking guy. And you had Apollo, who was the guy who always followed the rules.
The straight man.
And you had, Lorne Green as Adama, and he was always straight-laced and done his right thing. And then Colonel Ty, his right-hand man, was always, by the book. Everyone was very much like a rigid, and throughout the whole seasons of the original Battlestar, no one really changed.
Yeah.
Whereas they reinvented it. They reinvented everybody. Everyone was different. So it wasn't just like we're going to change, we're going to have a gender swap. Which it was just like, actually, here's a really cool character. Let's try and do something different like this. Yeah. And then, so I remember watching it the first time. I was a bit like, no, it's not Dirk Benedict. Oh, it's not the same. And then eventually, it was like, oh, actually, this whole series isn't the same.
No, it's a completely new story, isn't it? Yeah.
Serious. Like the Battlestar is so serious by comparison to the hokey 70s.
Well, and there's so much like it's all about. It's very philosophical and theological, and there's questions about God and technology and
morality and when that change was made, I mean, I remember I say there was a fuss, but it was just one of those ones. It kind of came, it happened, and then everyone was like, cool.
People actually realised that it was good.
Like you say, it was done well. It was done.
It wasn't done for the reason it would have been done now, which is look how progressive we're being by changing an established character's gender or race or whatever. It's like no, they've done it for.
I suppose the difference in this case was that had nothing to do with the original series. It was completely different.
It was essentially it was a hard reboot. It wasn't a continuation, which is the difference between when people talk about like the comparison with Doctor Who and that. It's like no, this is still the same fucking character in the same fucking universe, and it's been changed.
Doing things that are completely out of character.
Yeah.
Making decisions that you sort of look at those decisions and you look at every other Doctor that's played, every other actor that's played the Doctor, and you go, could I see Tom Baker's Doctor locking all those spiders away? So just basically suffocate and eat each other. No. I don't think I could do it. Would I see John Pertwee's Doctor do it either?
No.
No, I don't think I would.
You could even see fucking
Sylvester McCoy's Doctor.
Yeah, I was going to say McCoy or Baker. It's like you just couldn't see any of them doing it.
I think probably the only one I could see probably doing it would have to be within like his first few episodes, Colin Baker.
Yeah.
Because he's a bit more,
he's gone mental.
Callous, he's a bit more
yeah.
But there isn't even that character development for Jodie's Doctor to have that trait.
And even like the first season, Peter Capaldi, okay, he was very harsh and abrupt and direct. I couldn't even see him doing it. You know what I mean? He would still be like, well, no, this is still a life form.
Sentient life forms.
Yeah.
Well, I say sentient, but they're still life forms.
All right, like she did at the end. Oh, yeah, because you still haven't seen that, but there's a bit where at the Time of Children episode where like someone comes in and sacrifices himself for her, and rather than just being like, no, you shouldn't do this, and like the Doctor would, no, let me do it, she just fucking runs off and lets him sacrifice himself, and it's like, yeah, okay, bye. Like all the other.
I mean, you only have to say, okay, again, would Tom Baker's Doctor do it? Would Tom Baker's Doctor run away? No. He would have to have been knocked out, dragged to the TARDIS, and then the other person would have sacrificed themselves. Do you know why I know that? Because in Ark in Space, he's about to let off, he's about to like you do the synesthetic locks on the rock. Yeah. And the engineer is like, oh no, you'll be killed. And he goes, oh, don't argue with the engineers union, and the engineer knocks him out, puts him in a thing, and sacrifices himself. Yeah. So you know, for the Doctor, like Tom Baker's Doctor, would totally sacrifice himself.
Of course he would. Because, as you said, it's the end, but the moment's been prepared for, and that's the sort of the philosophy. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I was going to say that all the Doctors have had. Okay, David Tennant was kind of annoyed me a bit because it was like, oh, I don't want to go. That was like, okay, hang on. Well, what's going on here? You should. You're not good. Yeah, you're not dead. You're not dying. You're going to regenerate. But other than that,
he does do a good description. Is like it is me, but it isn't me, and it's like having someone else saunter off. He does describe it quite well.
Well, it's still
before you get me onto a rant about the end of time, because I'm
still the same man. It's still the same person. It's just you just feel slightly different.
I'm not going into that rant about the end of time. I'm not doing it again.
I don't. We've already got one. Well, I was going to say we've got my rant about it on the channel somewhere. So maybe yours could come out soon or later.
It's the amount of times I find myself if I get too drunk So it's
Yeah,
the end of time. It's like
Let's do it.
fucking end of time. What were they thinking? Not doing it.
I'll link it to you at the end. It's like I feel sorry for Jack because his because obviously his picks, like he gets through them in about sort of 10 minutes. But that one was my number one, and I had like about 4 pages of notes and about half an hour just going on about how fucking infuriating the episode is. Yeah,
that was the whole point. You just
I know.
that was the whole. You wanted to rip it apart, and you did, and that's fine. That's kind of the point of these things.
And I'm sure there are things that I have forgotten about how bad that episode is. That even with all those notes. But
Well, here's the thing. I'm sure if we re-recorded those episodes like today, obviously not quite today, but you know what I mean.
yeah.
I imagine that the argument's that much different.
No, they wouldn't be really.
No, but you'd either come up with new stuff, or your top 10 might potentially change. You know, it's just
Although I may now, because I did like the separate list of like the ones, the dishonourable mentions of ones that could easily be in that top 10 list, but I just sort of they're swappable, they're sort of like interchangeable. And Journey's End was in there, and I was just like, oh, that could so be in there. But I thought, no, I'll give it to the end of time because it's fucking ridiculous. There's more ridiculous things in that episode.
The end of time had so much of a setup.
Yeah.
So many things wrong with it. I mean, why was it fucking Rassilon?
Yeah. Just randomly.
Makes any sense. It was just a name drop.
He was the narrator of the actual story to us. And then he becomes the actual character later on, and then it's just a throwaway fucking line. Why are they sniffing each other? What's all this shit about?
How many times do you need to cock a service revolver?
Yeah, I missed that. Yeah.
How many times do you need to cock
that's one of the ones I missed.
Once, and it's ready. You don't constantly have to cock the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
Immortality Gate.
I'm having therapy about this. It's all right. I'm going to my AA meetings.
Yeah, like I said, I'll link you that video later.
My DWA meetings.
Then you can comment.
We go to them on a regular basis. We have to do it over Zoom these days.
Yeah.
Get over some of the bad Doctor Who writing.
Yeah. Because really, it's like,
books of Saxon, well, they don't make any fucking sense. Why did she pick up the ring?
So, and the thing is, like, she was part of an anti-cult of Saxon cult while this was all fucking going on. So she.
And it wasn't her who picked up the ring.
Make
It was
that point.
Another random fucking woman who picked up the ring.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was just one of those.
Died straight away when they did the whole thing.
Yeah, it was one of his cult of Saxon minions. Because we needed to see that at the end of the fucking episode.
It's a bit like how there was such a massive setup to make a shit Brexit and unit joke.
Yeah.
You had an entire episode just setting up the joke that the Master says, "Welcome to the Master
Race." And also, again, this whole fucking thing about him he's giving orders to himself, but why? Because all of them are him. Do you know what I mean?
It doesn't make any sense.
Why are you giving orders to yourselves? You are yourself.
We want to work as a great big team.
You just fucking okay. Actually, watching back, because I remember going, why doesn't he just control everyone with his mind rather than make everyone himself? Because he's basically doing the same thing. But then I remembered, it's because they need to triangulate the fucking drumming. I was like, all right, fine, whatever. That's stupid in itself. I probably should have put that in as well.
9-point star.
Yeah.
Or no, we also led to believe that it was the drumming was put there in his head in the first place. So the Time Lords are actually responsible for him being mental.
With him being a master, yeah. And so you have to then go back and take into consideration when you watch Roger Delgado that he's got drums in his fucking head the whole time.
He's mad.
No,
but he isn't mad. I mean, at no point. I mean, I think I've said this many times talking about Roger Delgado's a master. When you first see him, he's not mad.
He's not insane. No,
he's
calculated.
He's just callous. He has his own sense of what he wants, and he's going to do it. And that's just a different level of morality. It's not.
Yeah, he's not batshit insane. Okay, like you said, you even said in that video, it was like. You could argue that, okay, in order to have these evil thoughts, you must be insane, but that's not that's not true. as in, that's what you went on to say. It was like, no, that's not. And I agree with you there, because it's like there are plenty of evil, nasty pieces of work that are fully functional up there.
Know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're the ones you need to worry about, which is why the Master's such a terrifying villain.
Exactly.
He knows what he's doing, which is why if he was mad, the Doctor wouldn't have been able to reason with him at the end of Terror of the Autons.
No, exactly.
Because if he was mad, it would be like, because the Doctor says to him, how do you think that's going to be able to differentiate between you or them or any of us? They're going to kill you just as surely as they're going to kill us.
Yep.
And then he's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, you got a point.
Yeah.
or several other times where they've negotiated with each other. Like, in a, fucking... Well...
Lords of Axos.
Lords of Axos. Yeah. Time Flight. As bad as that was.
Colony in Space.
Colony in Space, yeah.
Just going to rattle off the Master.
Tries to convince the Doctor about the weapon and how they can shape the universe in their own, however they want.
In their own image.
Oh, he's trying to corrupt the Doctor with power. Oh, it's so good.
It's brilliant. It's just like, yeah, should have done it. But I suppose they sort of kind of did it later with the Valiant, but it's not the same.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they're never going to bring the Valiant back now. If they did, it would be they just wouldn't do it.
They've had fucking 15 years now to do it, and they just haven't. And it's a bit like they still haven't done the evil Doctor bit yet, which I'm really surprised that they haven't done, because it's quite. But maybe they thought it was too obvious. But
they've only ever hinted at it.
Yeah.
Briefly. I mean, the obvious choice for the Valiant is David Tennant.
Well, with the Meta Crisis thing, yeah. Or Jodie. It's Jodie the whole time.
I mean, she has been doing some real out-of-character stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like blowing up. That's something else, actually. I still haven't seen it, but someone made a point on Twitter about Revolution of the Daleks. Like, hang on a minute. If the TARDISes are all supposed to be semi-sentient, she's happily just killed one with blowing up that TARDIS, and with no qualms about it whatsoever. So you're thinking, or this the amount of people that have died as a result of her fuck ups and her inadequacy. You're like, something not right there. But I think that's just an accident of shit writing.
Accident of shitty writing, more like. It's like just never going to be.
Is it irrevocable? That's the thing, isn't it? At this point, if she goes and they get a different actor and they get a different writing team, can it be fixed? I personally think it can.
Eventually,
yes, it can.
I think they need a break. We can't just go straight into a new era. I think there needs to be a complete overhaul. Literally, everyone in that regime needs to go. Even the fucking, even Roderick said, even the catering staff. Get rid of all of them and just start from afresh.
They've all been complicit in this.
Yeah, and that's it's just like, just give it so it's kind of like out of the kind of consciousness for a little while, and then almost like you're sort of doing 2005 all over again. Not as long as that, but yeah, just maybe a few years while they properly sort it out. Take your time over it. Write it properly.
We're getting a few years between series anyway at the moment, so.
Well, this is it. Yeah, that's it. Especially now with, the restrictions pushing everything back anyway.
Yeah.
Are we going to start running out of television at some point? Or is this television just going to keep getting made? I mean, that sounds like a really stupid comment.
No, it's just it's gonna be like this, isn't it? It's all gonna be like YouTube.
Oh, what? It's going to be people sitting in their rooms like, oh yeah. I mean, a bit like staged. Although that is good.
Basically. Well, they're still managing to churn out all the fucking soaps every day. So I don't know.
It's because they're all in a COVID bubble.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But does it get classed as essential work, though?
Yeah, keeping the plebeians entertained, isn't it?
We keep each other entertained.
Keeps you entertained, doesn't it, Jack? When Ellie puts it on the telly for you.
Yes.
No, what keeps me entertained is the fact that I can put on YouTube and just listen to anything.
Us. Listen to ourselves back.
Moan about the Fucking
Last degradations of society.
last of the Time Lords.
I've got Reddit and I've got
Does that mean that Rassilon's carrying the hand of Omega at that point? The gauntlet.
Well, that's what I actually referred it to in that minute. I was like, hang on a minute. So he's got the hand of Omega now. Is it the hand of Rassilon now? Is it what they're referring to? Some fucking.
I remember someone
magic.
complaining about like, it defeats the Master's plan so easily. I said, come on, it's like a hark back to how the Time Lords were back in the War Games.
Well, yeah, and obviously he would have the power to do that because he's Rassilon. Okay. Unfortunately, they named that very late in this fucking story, but it's still
Up to that point, it doesn't. There's no relevance. He's just the president of the Time Lords, and then it was like it's Rassilon back into the Time Lord, now Rassilon, and I was like, hang on a minute, that's now throws up way more. Like his eyes are criminally underused because Rassilon actually has a lot of connotations added to it, which. Are wide-reaching, and you kind of go, no, it can't be him because you just thrown away love. Who the fuck's the woman who hides their eyes?
Yeah, that's it. That's what I was saying again. I was like,
who's the woman who actually speaks to fucking Wilf?
And why is it only him that she speaks to for some reason? And who's
the other person who's hiding their eyes? There's two of them.
Why is he believing anything that she's saying? It's like you think, is it? Just don't. Yeah, I'll just go and take this gun because some random woman is telling me to that I don't know exists. And apparently it was supposed hinted at later on that it was supposed to be the Doctor's mum. But you think, why would she turn up for this particular fucking incarnation in this regeneration? Oh, because it's David Tennant and it's Russell T Davies.
Russell T Davies didn't know what he was doing either. None of them did. But, at least they had some skill at writing.
Russell T Davies, he's had his heart in the right place. Some of his stories were very, very bad, but they weren't...
They may be really, really bad,
but
they ain't as bad as Series 11 and 12.
No,
so
that's the thing. They were... His sort of bad...
I have actually gone back and watched bad RTD, and I haven't watched some bad Chibnall.
No.
You know what I mean? I still can't bring myself to watch any.
The difference between RTD actually cared about the fucking lore behind Doctor Who. That because he brought it back. That's the thing. He actually kind of understood how it works.
He's putting his effort in, and and it shows. You put the effort in, even if it's not great. It's kind of like what you still get something.
Yeah, and the format was he got the format spot on.
Yeah,
he was more of obviously a drama writer, and Stephen Moffat was more of the actual sci-fi side of things. And then you got Chibnall, who's just like a
proof of the pudding. The ratings were there, so people liked it. People enjoyed what was being made.
Well, it was a young dashing doctor with a young dashing female companion. That's the fucking formula that works.
Well, that's how it works because dads need to be entertained as well as kids and mums.
Yeah, and then you throw one or two extra people in there now and again, not full time, but now and again, just to mix it up a bit, like they did with Amy, Rory, and the Doctor. That kind of dynamic does work.
Yeah,
not for like the whole season, but it still works for like a few episodes in a row, and you get more of a different spin on how people view the Doctor. That's good. But when you just throw in 3 other extra fucking wooden planks for the sake of ticking all the boxes, then it's like, and not actually developing any story or any characters, then that's when it falls down.
Yeah, there was very little character development.
Yeah.
Oh, I finally
see more from Yaz though, but not the other two, because that's who everyone cares about. Yaz, because for some reason everyone thinks she's the best ever Chibnall was trying to writes all these characters saying, "Oh, you're great, aren't you?" No. Why?
Yeah, I mean, if you have to say that you're great or someone's great, they probably aren't great.
No. It just seems he's trying to try and convince the audience that she's better than she actually is.
I watched the Crotons the other day.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about some good Doctor Who.
Yeah, just say I really enjoyed it. There's something exceptionally alien about the Crotons.
Oh, yeah.
Behave in that story.
And also the fact that they were going with them as sort of, okay, they weren't going to replace the Daleks, but at that time they were sort of...
They were experimenting to find...
Yeah, and it's like, okay, yeah, I can see, like you said, conceptually they were great, and if they had better
technology to pull it off,
then they would. So yeah, but it's good. Have you seen it before, Jack? I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
I haven't seen it. I've probably seen it in the past with you guys, but I haven't watched it yet. So
it's a significant moment in Doctor Who because it's the first Robert Holmes story.
Yeah.
The man responsible for creating the Master, the Author,
the golden age of Doctor Who,
creating the 13 regenerations rule. I mean, the man is responsible for so much. Sutekh, he wrote Pyramids of Mars.
Sutekh, yeah.
Space. Most of the seasons Philip Hinchcliffe were involved with. Talons of Wang Chang.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, you could just say it probably about 8 of the top 10 Doctor Who episodes, probably Robert Holmes.
Robert Holmes, yeah.
If not all top 10. Oh, sometimes.
Space.
He wrote The Time Warrior. Fuck, yeah.
Oh, he did as well, didn't he? Yeah.
Nice.
Up there. So, up there is one of my all-time favourites.
Mine too, but especially with that time, it's been a few years ago now when we watched it back together, and I'm like, fuck me, this episode's just got so many gems in it.
It's amazing. It's so well written. The dialogue is on point. Jeremy Bullock, God rest his soul.
Oh, Hal the Archer.
Hal the Archer. I was so... when everyone was like, oh no, Boba Fett's there. I was like, no, not
Hal the Archer.
Because actually, Hal the Archer's got so much more to me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I watched that loads. We had The Time Warrior on video, and it was one of the early videos, so we watched it.
It was one of the first ones, wasn't it? Yeah.
But yeah.
You actually saw his face. So you actually had more of a connection.
It's just got everything in it. Iron Gron is the best film.
I think they tried to sort of
nice
redo him in what's it? The Peter Capaldi episode, the Sherwood one, with the villain in that, but it wasn't quite as
quite carry it off.
No, not really. No. But I could see where they were going with it, but it was just like no, not quite, mate.
It's just borderline. It's borderline, like pantomime
comedy. Yeah,
it almost is. Yeah. But it's just done so well.
And I'd like you said before, I love the idea of history meeting advanced technology and what the ramifications can be for that. Where he's like, you could invent nuclear war by the 1700s or whatever it was.
Yeah. Well, I like the fact he describes it. It's like he's just stirring up the black ants and the red ants against each other. That's how he sees humanity. It's like, this is a. I don't know. So that's Robert Holmes for you. It's his writing. He sort of goes. Yeah. He likes to point out the frailty and the fact that humanity through a different lens is just like
tiny.
Can be so. like the universe can be so much more.
Yeah. Let's do Time Warrior next then for our review.
I'd love to do Time Warrior. It's another 10 out of 10. I don't even have to fucking. I don't even have to watch that episode to tell you it's one of my all-time. Yeah. That and Robots of Death.
Oh, you've been summoned, Jack.
I'm being summoned, so I'm gonna have to call it a night. I'm gonna be at 7 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, so it's like
yeah, fair enough, mate.
Good luck with the stock take.
Yes.
Yeah. Indeed. Well, you guys look after yourselves, and I will.
We'll try and do it again soon.
We'll do it again soon at some point. Bye.
Goodbye,
Jack.
Sean. Harry. Tits.